Straight ahead on 12 News, tragedy on a lake strikes hearts close to home.
He was just a really great guy. He would do anything for anyone.
Then, more proof of a local housing market upturn. Look no further than a Twin Cities lumber yard. But first, a presidential visit to tackle gun violence.
So when it comes to protecting our children from gun violence, you've shown that progress is possible.
12 News starts right now. Just 4 blocks from where a Brooklyn Park boy was fatally shot last summer in North Minneapolis, President Obama gives an address on gun violence.
The president spoke at the Minneapolis Police Department's Special Operations Center. Delane Cleveland was there and has more on the president's speech. Delane?
Mike and Alex, President Obama spoke for about 15 minutes today to rally support around his plan to reduce gun violence. That plan includes a ban on assault weapons, universal background checks, and improved mental health screening of potential gun owners. However, he admits that people will need to put pressure on Congress for those proposals to ever become law.
Now, changing the status quo is never easy. This will be no exception. The only way we can reduce gun violence in this country is if the American people decide it's important, if you decide it's important. If parents and teachers, police officers and pastors, hunters and sportsmen, Americans of every background stand up and say, this time it's got to be different. We've suffered too much pain to stand by and do nothing.
The fact that President Obama chose to launch his campaign in Minneapolis stems from a series of youth initiatives put in place by Minneapolis police. Those initiatives helped reduce the number of young people injured by gun violence by 40%. Brooklyn Park Police Chief Mike Davis says his city has many of the same initiatives to reduce violence, but he also advocated for the president's proposals to help make his job easier.
I mean, for us, I want to make sure that no one who shouldn't have a gun has a gun. I mean, that's the primary focus. And so it's background checks, it's making sure that the systems that collect data for the background checks aren't clogged. I mean, it's a number of things that we got to make sure, are in place. And so we could start there.
Before the president spoke to the audience, he met privately with a number of elected officials, law enforcement officers, and local residents who have experienced gun violence. And Mike and Alex, according to the White House website, the president boarded Air Force One to head back to Washington around 3 o'clock today. And there's a number of different proposals that are out there for this gun initiative, so people who want a full list of that, I'll put a link up on our website up for this story. That's at 12.tv for people who want to know.
All right. Thanks a lot, Delane. In the wake of the Newtown, Connecticut school shooting, schools across the country are stepping up their security. Today, the Robbinsdale School District launched a new security feature that had been in the works long before the Sandy Hook tragedy. Renee Benoit takes us to Plymouth Middle School, where there's a new layer of security now in place.
For the last 4 years, visitors who have come to Plymouth Middle School have had to be buzzed in.
It has been quite helpful.
Once inside, they have to stop in the main office to check in, and it's up to staff to keep track of who's coming and going.
We had to basically rely on face recognition, the families we know, but families are different today. There's extended families, and so we have aunts and uncles, grandmas and grandpas picking kids up in the day, during the day, so it may not be mom and dad.
Now the school is getting a little more high-tech help. This week,
let me go ahead and put this on.
Robbinsdale Area Schools is launching a new electronic visitor check-in system.
When a visitor comes in, we ask for their ID.
A scanner reads the magnetic strip or barcode on the back of a driver's license, a printer produces a visitor badge, and software records the person's destination and duration of visit.
It'll give all that information.
The district says it makes monitoring visitors easier and reduces human error.
If there's a person that needs special assistance when they come to the school, or if there's a court order, or if there's a trespassing notice issued to a person, we can tag that person with an alert where we simply type in their name and then give detailed instructions for the person sitting in this desk.
There you go.
And how to react when that person may check in.
While some visitors say the added measure slows them down a bit, they say they appreciate what the district is trying to do.
I think you're safe with the doors locked, but we're just trying to make the kids safe, so we're going to try any which way and figure out which way is the best, I guess, right now.
I am in a rush, but it's the way it is. I wouldn't want it to be any other way. I want the school to be safe.
While there are no immediate plans in place, the district is considering expanding the electronic check-in system for students coming and going during the day. In Plymouth, Renee Benoit, 12 News.
Before this week, Armstrong High School had been the only one in the district using an electronic visitor check-in system.
Friends and co-workers gathered near an icy Lake Minnetonka today to remember 31-year-old Harlan Dietrich of Maple Grove. He and his 87-year-old grandmother, Marianne Harem, died when their car fell through the ice on Lake Minnetonka on Saturday.
I've been so torn about what happened that the only thing I can do is just pray for him. And it's such a loss of words.
Underneath the County Road 101 bridge where the car broke through the ice, co-workers erected a small memorial and lit candles in Harlan's memory. They worked with him at the Crave restaurant in St. Louis Park. They say he was easy to like, and they remember his respect for his grandmother.
He's a young guy. Yeah. And he had a chance to do whatever he wanted. And he took care of his grandma, which is one of the most admirable things I think a human being could do.
He is just one of those people you just love to be around. He has just had such a warm soul, and he's truly, truly going to be missed by so many people.
Friends say Harlan and his grandmother were always together. He was taking her to a spot on Lake Minnetonka where he had been ice fishing. Now, when emergency crews arrived on Saturday, the car that they were in was submerged in about 10 feet of water. So far this season, 14 cars have fallen through the ice on Lake Minnetonka.
Charges could come Tuesday in a Brooklyn Park shooting case that left one man with multiple bullet wounds. The shooting occurred early Sunday morning inside a home in the 1800 block of Pearson Parkway. Police say a 55-year-old man had gotten into an argument with a 24-year-old man when the older man fired shots at the other. The person who was shot was listed in critical condition, but police do not believe the injuries are life-threatening. A Plymouth man is being recognized for decades of work helping refugees from all over the country.
Tom Albinson's work started in 1981 after a visit to Austria, where he discovered a camp full of refugees trying to flee communist countries.
Hungary, Romania, Bulgaria, former Yugoslavia, former Soviet Union. These people were fleeing from oppression, persecution in communist countries into the West.
Albinson saw an incredible need and wound up staying in Austria for 23 years. His mission work eventually led to helping faith-based groups assist refugees in Africa. Now he's been appointed ambassador with the World Evangelical Alliance and will work with the UN Refugee Agency.
Refugees are not just people in need. They're people of incredible resourcefulness and resilience. And so we learned that often if we started working together, instead of just doing things for them or doing things to them, that they would then come up with ideas that we didn't come up with.
Albinson says there are more than 42 million refugees in the world. He says there are more organizations working on the problem, but fewer countries willing to take them. Coming up, more signs of a local housing recovery.
Hear why local builders say the housing market is back. And later in sports, Totino-Grace takes on Hermantown in a matchup of ranked Class A hockey teams.
But first, it's a check of your AccuWeather forecast. A local nonprofit wants to make sure families in need don't have to pay tax preparation fees. This weekend, more than a dozen volunteers gathered at the Zanewood Recreation Center in Brooklyn Park to help people with their taxes free of charge. The nonprofit group Pro USA organized the event to coincide with Earned Income Tax Credit Day. Brooklyn Park Mayor Jeff Lundy and the Commissioner of the Minnesota Department of Revenue were both on hand to help kick off the event. The goal is to let people know that free tax preparation sites exist in their communities.
This is a great location. It's really a perfect opportunity for the city of Brooklyn Park to partner with the IRS and the Department of Revenue and all the volunteer organizations to really help get the word out.
Pro USA will continue to file people's taxes free of charge for qualifying individuals every Saturday until tax day on April 15th. For more information, you can go online to prousa.org. Well, there are plenty of signs that the housing market is finally starting to recover.
That's right. Home prices and home construction are up in the metro. And in this week's Business Matters, we take a look at one more indication of improvement. The cost of building materials is rising. This new 4-bedroom, 3-bath home under construction in Wayzata is already sold. A small sign, buyers are back.
We're definitely seeing more demand, more phone calls ringing.
K.C. Shermack's small custom building company in Plymouth currently has 4 homes under construction. And here's another sign of market improvement. Shermack's paying more for materials.
We've been given our heads up about a year and a half ago about drywall. And drywall sheets per house have gone up, and I would say on this house alone it was probably about $500.
It's supply and demand. Unfortunately, demand's up a bit, but the supply side got cut dramatically during the downturn.
At Lyman Lumber, which provides materials to area builders, lumber prices have risen 30% over the last year, while other sheathing products like OSB and plywood are up 70%. Branch manager John Zerbis says many lumber mills shut down or slowed production during the recession, and now they're struggling to keep up with demand.
There's some new plants coming online, but a lot of them won't be online until late this year. So for the season, for the summer, it's going to be quite challenging to keep costs down for our builders.
Back at this Wayzata building site, the rise in material costs mean about $1,500 extra to the cost of this home.
A lot of times we will adjust design slightly on a house and we'll alter things just to see if we can either get it back down just a little bit.
Slight alterations can help builder K.C. Shermack bring costs down, but ultimately he believes the rising material costs are a positive sign that building is back.
I think the positives truly outweigh the negatives as far as what's going on in the marketplace right now.
Coming up, Armstrong High School turns into an oasis for musicians.
But first in sports, a very close finish for the Cooper boys basketball team. John Jacobson has the highlights of the Hawks when we come back. John Jacobson with sports, and it doesn't get any closer than this. A real nail-biter for Cooper.
Great win for them, a big win in the North Suburban Conference. Cooper's boys basketball team is shooting for a North Suburban Conference title this winter. The Hawks face St. Louis Park in a battle for conference lead on Friday. Both teams coming in with an 8-0 marks in the North Suburban. Rashad Vaughn will whip a pass into Billy Kellogg, then to Darius Denson for the layup, and it's 12-6 Cooper. LeVar McCullough knocks it loose. Kellogg then sends it ahead to McCullough for the dunk. And the Hawks lead by 4. St. Louis Park has a solid squad. Kashif Hayes with a nice drive. He avoids a charge and scores 2 of his 27 points. Good execution here. Vaughn to Kellogg, back to Vaughn. He swoops in to score. But Cooper trails by 1 at this point. Vaughn steals the Orioles pass, and he's in alone to throw down the big jam. Cooper leads 29-28 at halftime. Second half, Kellogg leads the break, distributing to Brandon Robinson for the tough hoop, plus a foul here for the Hawks. And Cooper makes a run. Vaughn attacking and spins before hitting the floater. Doesn't have his best shooting night, but still scores 28 on the night, and it's 41-33 Cooper. Park keeps coming back, though. DJ Pollard with a nice crossover. He hits the floater. The Orioles within 4 at 58-54. Kellogg has some big plays for Cooper. He'll hit a 3 to put the Hawks up by 6. He had 16 points in the game. The Hawks hold on for a 72-71 win, and they stay unbeaten in the North Suburban. Wayzata and Maple Grove both got off to slow starts this season, but each team has bounced back since. The Crimson were at home for the non-conference game with the Trojans. And Bradley Carlson has the hot hand early for Wayzata, hitting the short jumper. A couple of minutes later, it's Carlson from the other baseline, knocking down 2 more, tying the game at 11. Then the Crimsons start to rain threes down on the Trojans. Jake Winicky hits. Bryson Woida comes down, knocks down another 3. He had 15 points in the game. Grant Kaufman with a long 3 from about 22 feet here. 8 threes for Maple Grove in the first half, and they're up 36-18 at the break. Carlson hits a 3 early in the second half. He had 28 points in the game, but is the only Trojans player to score in double figures. Winicky leads a balanced Maple Grove scoring attack with 19 points, and the Crimson wins 70-53. In boys hockey, Totino-Grace is ranked 3rd in Class A. That's likely to change, though, after their Saturday game against number 5 Hermantown. Hermantown's in blue. Great setup here. Travis Kepke to Chris Benson, who scores 1-0 Hawks. Second period, Hermantown gets another power play goal. Neil Pioch cranks up the shot from the point and finds the net. 2-0 Hermantown. Off the faceoff, the buck Puck will bounce to the net. Rory Davidowski thinks he has it covered, but it stays loose, and then Benson knocks the rebound in, and it's 3-0. Later in the second, the first Hermantown shot is wide, but Bo Gronseth sends it to the crease to Zach Kramer. He scores, and Hermantown rolls to a 4-0 win. In girls hockey, Maple Grove hosted Armstrong-Cooper. Maple Grove on the power play. Maddie Wu as Summer Thibodeau scores from the top of the circle, and it's 1-1. Armstrong-Cooper with Marissa Odell on the rush. Will slam on the brakes and slips it between the pads of Brianna Blessy, and Armstrong-Cooper's up 2-1. Second period, it's a shorthanded rush for Odell. She'll tuck it away here on the breakaway. It's a great goal. It makes it 3-1 Armstrong-Cooper. But Maple Grove comes back. Thibodeau takes it to the net. She'll lose it, but Olivia Rose now follows up to put it away. And that ties the game at 3-3 after 2. In the third period on a power play, the Crimson with a shot here that goes wide. They'll jam at the rebound, and Haley Herdeen is able to lift the puck over the goalie and in. A nice rally for Maple Grove, and they end the regular season with a 5-3 win. I mentioned you coming up Tuesday night, Park Center Osseo boys basketball top 10 matchup, and you'll see it live here on Channel 12.
All right, thanks a lot, John.
Thank you, John. Still ahead, not your typical day of learning at Armstrong High School.
Let's see how the school turned into a musical getaway. We're back after just a short break.
Armstrong High School was alive with the sound of music.
The school hosted the annual Northwest Suburban Conference Music Festival. It featured performances by bands, orchestras, and choirs from 11 area high schools. That includes Armstrong, Maple Grove, Osseo, Champlain Park, and Park Center. The students played for each other as well as for professional musicians.
All 11 schools have the opportunity to play 4 or 5 songs for the guest conductor, and he will critique them and give them some few tips and pointers on how to make their ensembles a little bit better. And so it's a great learning experience for the kids today.
The festival wraps up tonight with a grand finale concert at Armstrong. The best student musicians from each school will perform together in an ensemble.
That should be good, huh?
Yes, and we were just saying how you start to kind of feel like springs here when the festivals come around, the sports tournaments start to come in. That does it for us. Thanks so much for joining us.
But we leave you with more sounds from the music festival at Armstrong High School. Have a good night.